Hi, let us do a quick revision of Mathematics Paper 2, GCE 2020. So the first question says, you have been given a matrix. You have entries 7, 9, 4p, and 5p. So number 1 says, find the value of p for which the determinant of A is -2. So determinant of A is equal to -2. So what is P? So we're looking for the value of P. Now, how do you calculate the determinant? So determinant, you take the product of the major diagonal. So that is 7 multiplied by 5p, then minus 9 multiplied by 4p. That is the product of the minor diagonal. And this determinant should be equal to -2. Okay, so this implies, so 7 by 5p is 35p minus 9 by 4p is 36p is equal to -2. Okay, so this implies, so that 5 minus 36 is -1, so this is -p is equal to -2. Then divide throughout by -1, so therefore p is equal to 2. Okay, next, number 2, use a different color. So number 2 says find the inverse of A. So we want the inverse of A. Okay, so the inverse is 1 divided by the determinant. So 1 divided by the determinant, so determinant is -2, so you have -2. Then open, you interchange the entries of the major diagonal. So you have 5p, then at the bottom you have 7, then you change the signs in the minor diagonal, so 4p and -9. Okay, but remember we have the value of p, which is 2, so 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, then -4 multiplied by 2 is 8, -9 and 7. So this will be the inverse of P. All right. So you can just leave it like this. You don't necessarily need to simplify it any further. Okay, B. So B says should be Mutola and Mwaba were to be selected as members of a netball team. The probability of selecting Mutola is 7/8. So probability of selecting Mutola, I will just denote it by MU, is equal to 7/8, and the probability of selecting Mwaba, I'll say MW, is equal to 9/10. Okay, now find the probability that only one of them is selected. So 3 marks. Okay, so number 1, you know that the sum of probabilities should be equal to 1. Now the chance of selecting Mutola is 7/9, and the chance of selecting Mwaba is 9/10. So you only want the probability that only one of them is selected. So you need to combine the chance of selecting Mutola and the chance of selecting Mwaba. Okay, so what do we do first of all? So the first thing is we need to find out the probability of one of them not being selected. So here I'll say I'll put in red. So the probability of not being selected, so the probability of being selected is 7/8. Okay, so the probability of not being selected, it is 1 minus the probability of being selected. So 1 minus 7/8. So this is just this is 8/8, which is 1/8. Okay, and then this other guy is say 1 minus 9/10, which is equal to, so this is just 10/10, which will be 1/10. Okay, so this guy has a probability of 7/8 to be selected and a probability of 1/8 not to be selected, then 9/10 to be selected, and the chance of not being selected is 1/10. Now we want the probability that only one person is selected, so probability of only one person selected. Okay, so this will be given by, so remember the first event is that Mutola is selected, which is 7/8. Then you multiply by the probability of Mwaba not being selected. Okay, so what do we mean? What we mean is very simple. If you select Mutola, which is 7/8, you cannot choose Mwaba, which is 1/10. So you take the product. Okay, then you add the probability of selecting Mwaba, which is 9/10, multiplied by the probability of not selecting Mutola, which is 1/8. Okay, so if you punch this on a calculator, you should be able to get, this should be 1/5. Okay, now let us go to the second part. The second part says the probability that none of them is selected. So probability none selected. So this guy, 1/8 not being selected, then multiply by 1/10 not being selected, which is 1/80. All right, so that was the first question. Now let us go to the second question. The second question says simplify. So we are going to simplify. Okay, so what are we simplifying? We're simplifying y plus 1 divided by y squared minus 1. Okay, so what is this? We are going to use the difference of two squares. So in the numerator you have y plus 1 divided by, in the denominator, you know, y squared minus y is just the same as y minus 1 multiplied by y plus 1. Okay, so y plus 1 and y plus 1 cancels. This should give you, I'll just write it here for the sake of nice presentation. So you have 1 divided by 1 minus 1. Okay, so this question you just needed to know the difference of two squares. Okay, so I'll just take note here just something for you to remember. Note that if you have x squared minus y squared is just the same as x plus y, x minus y. Or if you have x squared minus 1 is just the same as x plus 1, then x minus 1. If you expand this, you should get this. You expand this, you get that. So this is just for you to remember. Let us look at the second question, B, which is the sum. It's saying that the sum of n terms of your geometric progression is given by 10 minus 10 over 2 to the power n. So here we have already been given that the sum of the n terms is given by 10 minus 10 over 2n. Now the question is, find the sum of the first 4 terms of geometric progression. So here you will not have to use these formulas. Remember, a geometric progression is the sum of the first n terms of a geometric progression is given by you could say Rn minus 1 divided by R minus 1. Okay, now in this case they have already put the value of A, the value of R, and you are remaining with 1. So after simplifying this formula, you remain with 10 minus 10 over 2 to the power n. So the first 4 terms will be S4, which will be given by 10 minus 10 divided by 2 to the power 4. Okay, so this is 10 minus 10 over, so 2 to the power 4 should be 16. Okay, should be 16. All right, then you have to simplify this. All right, so you can use a calculator, or you could just do 10 multiplied by 16 minus 10 over 16, and this should be approximately 9.38 to 3 significant figures. Okay, so you can just punch on the calculator. Okay, then the first term. Okay, so we're looking, that is the second part of this question. All right, so now we want the first term of this geometric progression. Okay, so what is the formula for S? Okay, so we have Sn, remember, is given by 10 minus 10 divided by 2 to the power n. Now the first term, you have not added anything, right? So you don't need to worry about the ratio or anything. So Sn is just plus 0 anyway. So S1, will be equal to 10 minus 10 divided by 2 to the power 1. Actually, this was a trick question because you don't know any information about this series sequence to say how many are they. Okay, you only have a formula of that, which is Sn, but you want the first term, so S1. Okay, so S1 will be given by that, which is 10 minus, this is 10 minus 5, which is equal to 5. So therefore you could say A1 or just A is equal to 5. Okay, so this is the first term. Okay, so always remember to show your working whenever you are solving. Okay, now this part, oh, not part B, part 3 says find the first 4 terms. So we want first 4 terms. Okay, all right, so what are we going to do? So this is very simple, right? Because we have already shown that the first term is 5, okay, and we have been given Sn to be Sn to be equal to 10 minus 10 over 2 to the power n. Okay, so S1 where, so I'll just say where S1 is equal to 5. Okay, so that is the first term. Then S2, so S2 will be equal to what? So when I say S2, I mean the sum of the first 2 terms. Okay, so which will be 10 minus 10 divided by 2. N is 2, which is equal to 2. So this is 10 minus 10 divided by 4. What is 4? That is 2 squared. All right. So next, I will simplify this. So this is just 40 minus 10, which is 30. So 30 divided by 4. Yeah, which is 7.5. Okay, 7.5. So the sum of the first 2 terms is 7.5, but the first term is what? The first term is 5. So what will be the second term? So if A1 is equal to 5 and S2, which is equal to A1 plus A2 is equal to 7.5. So this implies A2 will be equal to 7.5 minus 5, which is just 2.5. Okay, that is what you needed to do. Okay, now what is S3? So all right, so how many do we have? So we have, you have the first term, which is 5. Okay, the first term from the previous question, 5, 1. Then second term, 2.5. Oh, we are remaining with 2 terms. Okay. So we go ahead and compute S3, which will be 10 minus 10 divided by 2 to the power 3, which is 10 minus 10 over 8, which is, this should give us 8.75. Okay, so 8.75. Now this is the sum of the first 3 terms is what? 8.75. But we know that the sum of the first 2 terms is 7.5. And so we can say S3 can be given as S2 plus A3. So S2 is the sum of the first 2 plus A3. And this should give us 8.75. So therefore, A3 is equal to 8.75 minus S2, which is equal to 8.75 minus 7.5 from the previous calculation. And this is equal to, this is just 1. Yes. Let's see. Oh yes, 75, which is 1.25. Okay. So this is our third term. So I will just circle it here like this, third term. So we do the same iteration. We compute S4. So what is S4? So S4 will be 10 minus 10 divided by 2 power 4, which is 10 minus 10 divided by 16, of course. So when you compute this on the calculator, should be 9.375. Okay, so therefore, like we did in the previous step, A3 will be equal to this 9.375 minus the sum. So this is A3, so it will be S4 minus S3. So S3 is 8.75. So this should be 0.625. Okay. Now let us put everything together. So the first term we said was 5. So you have 5, comma, second term 2.5, third term 1.25, and the last term is 0.625. Okay, and so forth. So these are the first 4 terms. Number 3. So number 3, the first part, part A says solve. You have 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 is equal to 0, giving you answer that is correct to 2 decimal places. All right, so this is very simple. The only formula you need to remember is that x is given by minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything divided by 2a. where a is equal to, so a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 2, and b is positive 3, and c is negative 7. So therefore x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared minus 4, then a is 2 and c is negative 7. Everything divided by 2a, but a is 2. Okay, so this simplifies to negative 3 plus or minus the square root of, so you have 9 squared, so you have 3 squared, which is 9, plus 7 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 2. This is 65. So this is 65 here, then divided by 4. Okay, so right away I will say x is equal to negative 3 plus the square root of 65 divided by 4, or x is equal to negative 3 minus the square root of 65 divided by 4. All right, so you can put this on the calculator and simplify, and remember to leave your answer in 2 decimal places. All right, let us look at b quickly. So b, if in the middle is x. Okay, so what do we need here? Okay, so given that there were 25 students altogether, find the value of x, 2 marks. Okay, so this is a simple Venn diagram, and we know that the total number of elements in this Venn diagram is equal to, so total is equal to 25. Okay, now what is the value of x? Very simple. So you just add everything that has been given. So 6 plus 5 minus x plus 7 plus x. The order does not matter. X minus, 4 minus x plus 3 minus x plus 2. Everything is equal to 25. Okay, so your next task is to group like terms, the x's, they add and cancel, and then solve for x. Okay, let me just do it quickly. So this x and this x cancels. This x and this x, you have minus 2x, because you have minus x, which is minus 2x. Then 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 4, 17, 18, 19. Then this looks like 21, 2, 3, then plus 4 is 27. Okay, so on the left side you have 27, but here you have 25, so 25 minus 27. Okay, so this is minus 2, this is minus 2x is equal to minus 2 actually, and you can just divide throughout by x, so this, therefore x is equal to positive 1. Okay, all right. Now the second question says, how many students studied mathematics and chemistry only. Okay, so number 2, part A, we want math and chemistry only. Okay, so again I have to check the diagram again. Okay, so this is for mathematics, this is for physics, and this is for chemistry. So they're saying mathematics and chemistry only. All right, so we want math and chemistry only. So we are just going to look at the intersection, okay, of student who did mathematics and chemistry. So this is 5 minus x. Okay, so you have 5 minus x. But what is x? X is 1, so 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. So 4 students. Okay. Next, you are saying one course only. So B is one course only. Okay, so one course only, it means they only studied one subject. They did not do 2, 3 or whatsoever. Remember, the 5 minus x, they did both mathematics and chemistry, and these ones they did mathematics and physics, but only one course is 6 for mathematics. So 6 they studied mathematics only, 7 they did physics only, chemistry only, plus 2 they did physics only. So you can add those. Okay, then C, it says chemistry and physics but not mathematics. So so this is mathematics, right? So I will just circle it. So this is mathematics. Okay, so everyone that falls into this circle is not part of the solution. So we want physics and chemistry. So, and if you say and, you mean intersection, right? So physics and chemistry, so which is here. Let me use a card. So this is the intersection, 3 minus x. So physics and let me use intersection. So physics intersection chemistry will be equal to 3 minus x, and this is 3 minus 1, which is equal to 2. All right. Okay, now let us look at question 4 quickly. So question 4. So question 4 says the program below is given in the form of a pseudocode. So you have start. So you know that start is a circle, right? Yeah, that is what you need to remember. So okay, they start ABCD, then draw the corresponding flowchart for the information given above. Okay, 5 marks. So start, then you're going to enter the radius, then you check if the radius is less than 0, then display error message and re-enter positive radius, because the radius cannot be 0. So you tell the computer if the radius is less than 0, which is negative, then you say error. Okay, then you enter else, enter slant height. So else you enter slant height. If slant height is less than 0, display error message again. Then else you say area is given by pi multiplied by r multiplied by r plus slant height. Then end if, then display message, and you say stop. Okay, so this is how we go. So we start our program. I said we start with a circle, so this is a circle start. Okay, so after starting, you are going to enter radius. So you are going to use this shape. This is enter radius. You could even just write enter r. Okay, so how do you go about it? So this is a flowchart. So you go down, you have to make a decision, or you have to ask a question. So you use a rhombus. So this is a rhombus, and the question that you're asking is radius less than 0. So is r less than 0? So if you want, you can write radius in full or just r. It's not a problem. So you're going to go one direction where you have yes, all. You're going to say no. Okay, so if it is yes, what is the information that you are given? So if it is yes, you are going to display error. Okay, and enter positive radius. Okay, so you display error and go back to where you started from. Okay, now if it is no, you have to enter a slant height. So you enter slant height. Okay, now again, you have two decisions that you need to make. So you have to ask yourself to say, using a rhombus, is my slant height less than 0? You have a yes, all, a no. So if the slant height is less than 0, you have to display error. So I'm not going to write everything in full. You can just go ahead and see from the question. Okay, so you display error, and if you display error, you still want to calculate the area, so you have to re-enter the height. Okay, now the flow from the top here, if you enter the radius and it is not less than 0, you enter the height, and it is not less than 0, you calculate your area. So in the final output, you say area is given by pi. We have been given the formula star. So star means multiply, then star, r plus, we have to say slant height. This has been given. Okay, and then you put it in a box. All right, then we have to The question says display area. So we are going to display our area. Okay. Then the last thing is to stop. Okay. So the stop and the start, you can either use oval, an oval shape, or a circle. All right. So this was our question 4. So you can move from a flow diagram or a flow chart to a pseudocode by using the same steps. Okay. Now we go to part B. Part B says express that thing as a single fraction. So this is a very simple question. However, you need to be careful of the negatives, right? So you have 2 over x minus 1 minus 3 over 1 minus x as a single fraction in its lowest form. So first thing first, you write your common denominator. Now notice one thing, x minus 1 and 1 minus x are not the same. So you have to take the product. So x minus 1 and and 1 minus x. All right. So x minus 1 into this product, you have 2 on top, then 1 minus x minus 3, then x minus 1. All right. Now you are going to expand. So our expansion, we have next we are going to expand. So we have 2 minus 2x minus 3x plus 3 because minus and minus here. Then everything divided by x minus 1 and 1 minus x. Okay. So this is 2 plus 3 is 5. Then minus 2, 2 minus 2x minus 3x is minus 5x. Okay. Everything divided by x minus 1, 1 minus x. So you can observe something here that 5 can be factored out because you want to simplify in its lowest or simplest form as far as possible. So 5 outside, you have 1 minus 5x, everything divided by x minus 1, then 1 minus x. I beg your pardon. You need to simplify its lowest form. 5 is common, so 5 outside. You have 1 minus x, everything x minus 1, and 1 minus x. So x minus 1, 1 minus x and 1 minus x goes away. You remain with 5 over x minus 1. All right. So you remain with 5 over x minus 1. Question number 6. In the diagram, okay, in the diagram, so I will quickly draw the diagram. This is my number 6. So why am I drawing the diagram? So that I can be able to visualize well what I have been given. Okay, so we have O, we have A, Q, this is C, B, and P. So now This is a very simple question. Okay, how do you solve it? You follow it the the way the question has been phrased. So in the diagram below, Q is the midpoint of OC. Okay, so Q is the midpoint of OC. So where is OC? So OC is this direction. Okay, and if this is the midpoint, then this length and this length are the same. Okay, now and O A B, O A B P is a straight line. Okay, so this is a straight line. We know that this is a straight line, no problem. And then we have been told that OA and AB and BP are equal. Wow. So this length and this length and this length are equal. Okay. Next, we know that we have been given that OA is equal to 2P. So from O to A, so I will write from O to A is 2P. Okay, so from O to A only is 2P, but we have been told that OA and AB are equal, so we know that here it is 2P and here it is 2P again. Okay, next we have been told that OQ is equal to Q. So from O to Q, the length is Q. Okay, the length is Q, so don't forget to put the underscore. Okay, to underline it. Okay, so from O to Q, the length is Q, but we've been taught that Q is the midpoint of OC, so meaning that Q or QC is Q as well. All right, now the question is expressed in terms of P and all Q OB. So OB, you can already see from here, you're just summing OA plus AB. Okay, you cannot do the triangle here because you do not know what BC is. Okay, so you cannot do the triangle here, you just go straight line. So all right, I'll just write it here to say OB is just the same as OA in that direction plus AB, which is equal to 4P. So that is 2P plus 2P in that order. All right. Next, I have to, we have BC. So BC. All right. Now, your starting point is B going to C in that order. So you have to make a right angle, you have to move into a triangular path. So you can either go to BP or to BO, but you do not know what BC is. So BC in this order will be BC. So your starting point is B, so it's B, and then you go to O, then plus O to C. So starting point is B, ending point is C. So now, what is BO? Remember, OB is 4P, so BO is negative of OB, which is negative, just say negative 4. P, then plus. So OC is just the direction, which is it's just the normal direction, and we're not going to take the negative, so which is 2 Q, 2Q. So you don't need to do any simplification here, it's just straightforward. Okay, number three is AQ. All right, so what is AQ? So AQ is here. All right, so how do we move? Okay, so we are at A, so from A we can go to O, then plus from O we can go to Q. So AO, remember, from O we are moving to, in the given question we have been given that OP is equal to, OA is equal to P, right? But we are saying, I beg your pardon, we have been given that OA is equal to 2P, but in this case we want AO, which is the opposite direction. Okay, so I'll just indicate the direction is this side, so the opposite direction will be negative 2P, then plus. What is OQ? So OQ is just the normal direction, or the given direction, which is Q. All right, next we are going to calculate CP. Now CP can be found in two ways. One, you can move from C to O, then O to P, or you can move C to B, then B to P. So let us just move C to B. So CP is CB plus BP. Don't forget the direction. What is BC? So BC is this one here, meaning that CP is going to be the negative of that. So this will just be 4. You have negative 4P, so it will be 4P, then minus 2 minus 2Q. Then what is BP? Then plus BP, this is just the normal direction, which is 2 BP is 2P, so we can add the P and the P. This is 6P minus 2Q. That's it. B says the gradient function, so I could just say mx. So normally m will represent the gradient, so mx is given by 3x plus 2. Then the question says find, we want the equation of the curve if it passes through the point 0, 2. Okay, now remember, for you to find the gradient, you take the gradient. Okay, we need the equation of the curve. Now you remember the gradient is just the slope of the curve, which can be found by the derivative, right? So whatever the function we had, which is the function of y is equal to f of x, to find its gradient we said dy dx is equal to f prime of x, which is some function. But in this case, we have been told mx, which is the gradient equation, is given by dy dx, right? The derivative of y with respect to x, which is equal to 3x plus 2. All right, now we want the original equation. So what do? Remember, integration and the differentiation are just reverse of each other. So to find the value, to find the equation for y, we are going to take the integral. So okay, so dy dx is equal to 3x plus 2y. Now to find the equation of y, we are going to take the integral. All right, so we take the integral of the gradient function. So the integral, so y is equal to the integral of mx. So mx is just the gradient function with respect to x, which is the integral of 3x plus 2 with respect to x. Okay, now remember, the integral is linear, meaning that you can distribute the integral throughout. So I will factor out 3 and integrate x with respect to x, then plus we could say 2 the integral dx. Okay, now this is just the same as 3. So remember, when you are integrating, you increase your variable by power 1. So x to the power 1, it is going to increase by 1. So this is x to the power 2. Okay, which is equal to 3x to the power 2. Because we're integrating, we raise the variable by 1, and then we divide throughout by the, remember, the integral of 1 with respect to x is just the same as the integral of x to the power 0, because any number to the power 0 is equal to 1. Now we said we increase the power by 1, so x to the power 0 plus 1, then divided by 0 plus 1, which is just the same as x. Okay, so the integral of 1 is just the variable in question. In this case, the variable is x. So x, then we add c, because this is an indefinite integral. So therefore, y is equal to this. Now, this is the general equation. We need to find the value of c. We have been given that the curve passes at 0,2. So 0 is the value of x, and 2 is the value of y. So you could say 2 is equal to, so y, that is y, I put 2, then 3 divided by 2, and I say 0 squared plus 2 multiplied by 0 plus c. So this is 0, this is 0, which implies c is equal to 2. So therefore, y is equal to 3 over 2 x squared plus 2x plus 2. This is the last question in the first section.